Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Whitfield Report Monday edition. It's been a while since I've done a Monday show, quite a while actually. But nonetheless, glad to be here. Like I said, it's been a while, so if you're not familiar with the Monday show, these are usually pre-recorded. They're a lot shorter than the 3-hour show, so we'll be here for about half an hour to 45 minutes, usually, if that. And the Monday shows usually tend to be a little either they either usually cover like news or stuff like that, or they tend to be more laid back, just depending on the week. In this case, it is Labor Day, so happy Labor Day to everyone listening and or watching this on Monday when it airs. I hope you're having a good long weekend. And if you're listening to this on Tuesday or any day after, I hope you had a good long weekend. Summer's almost coming to a close, and the kids are heading back to school and everything else. But hey, you can still chill out, relax, and have some fun. And that's what we're going to do here on tonight's show. So I only have really like two topics or three topics, really at the most. The first and foremost was kind of a request from a few people on Twitter regarding the game Starfield and this whole gender pronouns thing that I guess has popped up. And for those who are not familiar, what this is about, I guess Starfield is a game that was published by Bethesda, which is one of the big, AAA game studios. And it's supposed to be like Microsoft's, exclusive. It's a Microsoft exclusive, so PC and Xbox. I guess it's like an MMO of some kind, and it's their answer basically to Cyberpunk 2077, I guess, right? So I guess Starfield has like gender pronouns in it and whatnot, and it's gotten a lot of press lately because Az, who is a YouTube commentator, he does the channel Heel versus Babyface. He actually did a rant about Starfield and all this gender identity stuff, and it's gone viral. So I'm gonna break down this rant that Az did because it's gone viral, believe it or not, and I'm not sure what's funnier, the fact that that Starfield has like gender pronouns in it, or the fact that Az ranting about Starfield having gender pronouns has gone viral. So let's take a look at this, folks. And hold on, let me pull it up on my screen. There we go. So this is originally from the channel Chuds of TikTok, which I guess is supposed to be like a satire of like libs of TikTok. They're supposedly like a conservative, you know, or like a liberal version of libs of TikTok, basically, right? So they took this clip and it went viral, and so here's the rant that Az did on Starfield. Let's take a listen.
I just want to say something to you, Bethesda. Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off. Fuck that. Bethesda. There is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself. Think, oh my god, just think of this world. Just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring! We can't see past our own fucking reflection! That's the level of our narcissism here at Bethesda Western Game Company! Fuck your immersion. Fuck you having a good time. Fuck you falling into a world and just getting lost. No, no, no. Current fucking day. Fuck off. You're boring. You're fucking dull. You have nothing to say. You are a one-hived mind twat waffle. That's all you fucking are. And you wonder why people are getting so fucking sick and tired. You take everything we love, all our immersions, all our fantasies, all our escapism, and you just can't help shovel your dog shit, fucking crap ideology into everything, every single solitary fucking thing.
Okay, now the internet has had a lot of fun with this, right? The general conception of this clip is, oh my god, this guy is overreacting over gender pronouns. What a loser. What an overreaction to them, to Bethesda simply adding in gender pronouns into an RPG, into a character creation tool, essentially. This guy has a bad temper. He, oh my god, how awful. Right? That's the general kind of like consensus that Chuds of TikTok and all these other woke commentators are trying to say. They're trying to basically say, like, oh, come on, it's not that bad. This guy is overreacting, right? But a few things to break down here, right? Okay, folks. First off, anyone who thinks that Az is overreacting because he's yelling in this review and in his rant. Most likely, these are people who have never watched Az's channel, Heel versus Babyface, before, right? I discovered Az back in 2020 alongside, The Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic. That was when I discovered him, right? And Az's review style kind of is a bit on the ranty side. That's just kind of his on-air personality. He likes to get hyped up. He likes to rant a bit, and he likes to yell sometimes. Right? That's his gimmick. He did like multiple reviews for the Star Wars movies where like that was basically his thing, was criticizing the new Disney Star Wars trilogy and basically yelling about it, right? Bring up the fact that they were pushing this social justice ideology in the Star Wars films, right? He made a review series for the CW series Batwoman, which ended up getting canceled. And actually, I think his rant reviews about Batwoman actually ended up getting more reviews than Batwoman itself, right? So anyone who is, complaining about Az, yelling and or ranting, they don't seem to understand that that's just Az being Az, right? He's always done that to an extent. Now, people also think that because he's yelling and, kind of, getting fed up, that completely invalidates his point. But here's the thing, folks, and I've talked about this, before on the show. We covered this pretty in depth back in June, right? The thing of it is, this isn't an isolated incident, folks. Az is not specifically mad that Starfield has gender pronouns in it, because it's not just Starfield. What Az is ranting about, and what a lot of us, what I have criticized in the past as well, is the fact that all these AAA game studios that are into RPGs specifically, within the last couple of years, they've done this thing where they make gender pronouns a thing, or they purposely make like gender ambiguous in games somewhat, right? They even did this in Elden Ring a few years ago when that came up, where instead of uh you know back in the old days of the role-playing games, and by the old days I mean like mid 2000s, basically pre 2016, right? You had a male gender that you could choose from, or you had a female gender that you could choose from, right? And then if you wanted a list of female voices to choose from, you had a list of female voices, and if you wanted a list of male voices, you had a list of male voices to choose for your character in all of these RPGs, right? But really, ever since the Gamergate era and post 2016, all of these game developers, especially in the RPG world, have done this weird thing where you have the male and female body types, but instead of calling them like male or female, you call them body type A or body type B. And like in the case of Elden Ring, like body type A is clearly a male body, right? And then body type B is clearly female, in its features, right? But instead of just doing male and female, they do body type A and body type because current day politics, right? And instead of having male voice 1 or male voice 2, they have voice A or voice B, and then instead of having like female voice 1 or female voice 2, they have voice C and voice D, right? So it's this whole thing of like making gender ambiguous in games, right? And here's the thing, it's people are asking, well, Sam, it's just a video game. What's the big deal? Come on, you conservatives are overreacting, right? Well, this is the whole thing, folks, is the gender identity politics. It starts out in entertainment and in television and in games, right? It starts off there, and then it trickles slowly but surely into the real world. We've seen this over the past decade, right? All of those crazy, Tumblr blogs from like 15 years ago, all of those Tumblrettes that were talking about gender pronouns and being non-binary and queer theory and all of that shit from like 15 years ago that was on Tumblr. All of those kids, went to college and then they got jobs in the corporate world, and now this shit is manifesting itself in the real world, folks. It's not just good enough to be a you know a a plain old guy or a plain old gal and just have it be that. Oh no, we need your pronouns in your email signature and your pronouns on your social media profile. And heaven forbid if you accidentally misgender someone in an office place, that's like an HR violation now, right? So people ask, what is the big deal with you know players being non-binary in Starfield? Nothing, except for the fact that you give these people an inch and they take a mile. Hogwarts Legacy is another example where they actually listed male and female character roles. And because of that, like the SJW trans people like lost their fucking minds over it, right? Because well, they hate J.K. Rowling now, right? They hate J.K. Rowling, they hate Harry Potter now, because she said one thing that trans women are not the same as biological women. That's all she said, and now they've completely lost their mind, and they were trying to get the Hogwarts Legacy game shut down, and they were trying to cancel J.K. Rowling, which, by the way, backfired on them massively because even the people like me who don't necessarily, who aren't necessarily big fans of Harry Potter, we bought the game and played it just to, say screw you to the cancel culture mob, right? That was that. Right? So that is an example. But also like as is talking how the current day politics break, how it breaks the immersion of being lost into the world. And it really does, right, folks? Because as a gamer, when I turn on my PlayStation 5 in the evening, or when I boot up my computer to play a game or something, I want to get lost in the world of that game. I don't want to think about pronouns, identity politics. I don't want to think of any of the current day, political tropes that are necessarily going on, especially in something like a science fiction or, fantasy genre. I just want to be immersed in the game, right? But yet these people have to continuously push their, uh, gender identity crap and their woke politics on us, and it's a bit much, folks, and I can see why people like ads sometimes lose their mind about it because it's fucking everywhere now. Even in like games like Call of Duty, right, folks? Call of Duty is a first person, military shooter game, and the multiplayer is, arguably it's like one of the biggest like online multiplayer, shooter games out there, if not the biggest. And yet, what do they do every June in solidarity with Gay Pride Month? Call of Duty always updates the game uh, to include like, you know, LGBTQ Pride Month machine guns and LGBTQ Pride Month, character skins and just stuff that doesn't really fit the, the whole theme of Call of Duty being military, based or military themed, but it's just them, you know, promoting their politics through gaming. And gamers are sick of it. Even though a lot of the gamers I knew who are pro gay, right, and who who might be non-binary, even though a lot of them are getting sick of this because they feel like they're being pandered to rather than just validated, right? So that's what this whole rant is about, folks, from as it's because it's not genuine, right? A lot of these companies are just virtue signaling for the sake of virtue signaling because they think it's going to drive a profit when in reality, it's not really, and in some cases, like, it's driving people away. Now, in regards to Starfield, like minus that one thing, I've heard it's pretty good. I haven't played it yet, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to since it's a PC/Xbox exclusive. I will say that like some of the critiques of Starfield have been pretty unfair because they're basically saying it's like just a cheap ripoff and a buggy version of Cyberpunk 2077. which is amusing because, Cyberpunk 2077 was infamous for basically being broken on launch and virtually unplayable, no matter what platform you were playing on, right? Now that the game is fixed and whatnot, everyone loves to talk how great it is, and they love to shit on Starfield, right? But anyone who remembers what was going on there with Cyberpunk 2077 upon its launch, you know, don't judge Starfield too harshly for for some of the bugs because, Cyberpunk had its issues as well. That's all I would say there. Um, with that in mind, uh, most developers, or I should say all developers, need to fix their damn games and, troubleshoot bugs completely before launch, before release, right? Forget the identity politics, any of the woke versus non-woke politics. Like, that's my biggest gripe in gaming these days is that game companies are charging 60, 70, even $100 sometimes for new games, right? So you can be like paying up to $100 sometimes just for a video game, and they're riddled with bugs and glitches upon launch. And at the price point that they're selling games for now, which, no matter how you slice it, $60, $70, that is a lot for a game. And yeah, I understand. Oh, it's the time spent programming and time spent, labor and all of this cost and inflation and hardware support and all of that. I get that, but at $670, that's not like that's not a small amount of money. So if you want to charge that price, fix your shit in the first place. Triple A title companies. And that's why I've been playing games like Disco Elysium, indie games like Company of Heroes, smaller, developers that might not charge as much money, but damn it, they tend to fix their games right off the bat, folks. Wouldn't you know it? It's a miracle that does happen at times. These indie game companies actually tend to fix their shit more often than not, and I've had fun playing Disco Elysium for the past couple days. It's an RPG. It's kind of like a weird psychological thriller RPG. I haven't quite gotten the hang of it, but it's a fun game so far. Check it out if you want to, and I think it's only like $30. In some cases, folks, it's even on sale, depending on where you look. But anyway, so that's just a quick little rant about Starfield. That's my take on it. Is as a little over the top in his review, yeah, but that's just his style. I don't think his message is necessarily wrong per se. I think he is kind of spot on with that, if you want to know my opinion. Like we're just sick of the woke bullshit already, folks. Give it a rest. Stop trying to force it. It's not making money. So yeah. And then let's see, what else do we have? Oh, so over the weekend I started watching a new series on Apple TV Plus called Hijack with Idris Elba, and I have some mixed opinions on this show, to be honest. It's a mixed bag, ladies and gentlemen. It stars Idris Elba, who I love. Um, he plays, he's most famous probably for John Luther in the BBC series Luther, which is absolutely fantastic. Um, he's done like a few other movies. He's been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe before. He was at one point, being considered to be like the first black James Bond. A lot of people were pushing him to do that until he himself actually came out and said, "No, I don't want to do it because it's too physical." And after looking at what Daniel Craig went through for all those years, just getting beat up, I'm not really sure that I want to do that, right? But he is in a new series called Hijack. It's on Apple TV Plus. Now Apple TV Plus, they're one of the newer streaming services out there, and I'll be honest, like, yeah, I am an Apple fanboy. I have an iPhone, I have a Mac, I have an iPad, Apple everything. My Apple Watch is charging, right now. I've got Apple Music, you know, I'll admit it, I'm an Apple cultist, as some of you out there on the internet like to say, and I'm rather unapologetic about it. So sue me. I like Apple, right? With that being said, I will admit that Apple TV Plus, I'm still kind of scratching my head, wondering why they got into the TV entertainment streaming genre in the first place, especially in a streaming world that is already like very, I guess, segmented. I guess they've had like some success with the with Apple TV Plus, but the thing of it is anytime you buy like a new Mac or a new iPhone, you get like 3 to 6 months free on your Apple TV, Plus subscription anyway. And so what happens is most people get a free trial and then they just cancel outright. Um, and then that's that, right? So that's what I've done. I did that a few years ago, like when the service first launched, and I got like an iPhone a few years ago. I got a free subscription then, and then once it like expired, I canceled it. And then I just got my iPhone 14 Pro, so they gave me another free 3 months. So I've redeemed it since then, and I've been watching this show Hijack, right? So the premise of Hijack with Idris Elba is that he's a Idris Elba plays kind of like a corporate finance guy, and the show starts off this airliner takes off from Saudi Arabia and is flying back to London, which is about like a 6.5 hour flight, I guess, in the story. And so the plane gets hijacked by like a group of British hijackers, right? It's kind of unclear whether or not they're like bank robbers or like just like flat out domestic terrorists or what. But they hijack this plane, and Idris Elba is this like corporate negotiator guy, and he has to kind of like negotiate with the terrorists to like make sure they don't kill anyone on the plane. And I'm 3 episodes in, folks. I just started watching over the weekend, and let me say this: there are things that are good about the series, and there are things that are kind of meh about the series. So far, I've got the trailer pulled up, so let's watch this real quick. And then I'll kind of do like a spoiler-free review so far. Some things that I like and some things that I don't like, right? So here's the trailer for Hijack from Apple TV Plus. And I'll go ahead and get that queued up. So here it is. Let's start from the beginning. Okay.
Would any remaining passengers for flight KA29 please make their way to gate B15?
Good morning, everyone. This is Captain Robin Allen speaking. Flight time today is 6 hours, 54 minutes.
Stay in your seats! Get down! Now! Down!
Operation has commenced.
Phones, tablets.
Plane is under control.
You need to see this.
Plane cleared, of course.
Someone is calling for help.
Got family? Loved ones?
We got one job to do right now. Just get through to them.
I got a message from the plane.
Dad says incident on board.
What exactly does your dad do for a living?
It's difficult to explain.
Sam's the best at handling it.
Handling what?
The negotiation.
There are 200 people on this flight. If they try something, and then this plane goes down, I don't get home to my family. Let me make you an offer.
I've been handed demands.
If it's all going wrong in the first hour, imagine the next 6. We need to get a message to the whole plane. We just need to be ready. There's other stuff going down.
5 passengers on that plane do not exist.
It's a network running all across Europe.
To them, we're an incoming missile. It's either us or them. And I can tell you, it's not going to be us.
Okay, so I started watching this series on Friday night, and I watched the first 3 episodes. By the time you guys listen to this, I will probably have watched the 4th episode, maybe more. So first off, here are my first impressions. Idris Elba does a really good job in this role. It's a bit unclear as to what his role is at first and what he's supposed to do. Part of that is because of the writing, which I'll get to in a sec. But overall, Idris Elba does a really good job of his role. All of the other actors, the supporting actors, they do a really good job. Even like the terrorists or bank robbers or whatever they are, they do a really good job. And same thing with the crew and the passengers. I like the concept of the story too, because usually in most TV series that are kind of like, suspense thrillers, or I guess like terrorism thrillers, plane hijackings can be like part of like a larger plot, but they aren't the plot necessarily, so to speak. And this one really kind of makes the whole, flight hijacking thing like the primary plot point within the show. So both the acting and the overall concept, I'll put those two things, uh, in the category of things that the show does really well, right? As far as the actual writing and the execution of the show itself, well, I'm only 3 episodes in, but I will admit that that is where the show kind of tends to falter, right? So, first off, folks, when I said that, the villains might be terrorists or bank robbers or whatnot, whatever, I I said on purpose, because the show, at least at this point, and I don't know whether it's on purpose or whether it's just a plot hole, but it is really ambiguous as to what exactly these terrorists or bank robbers or whatever, what it's really unclear what the hijackers motive for hijacking the plane is, right? We don't know if there's anything like special on board yet. We don't know if there's like anyone like specifically on that plane. We don't know really what their goal is. Like, are they professional assassins on the way to assassinate someone in Great Britain? And if so, why are they using like a commercial airline and then hijacking it, right? Are they plotting like a terrorist attack? No one really knows. And so the motivations of the of like the hijackers are really kind of unclear at this point. And I understand wanting to like kind of build suspense and tension for the show, right? Like, I understand wanting to like make their motivations like a mystery in the show, so to speak. But the problem I have is the way in which they're doing it is really like kind of confusing, because in certain instances they'll make it seem like the hijackers simply just want to like rob the plane or try and steal something, right? And they're basically like pulling like an on-air like stick up or something, right? But then they'll like kind of change the narrative to make it seem like they want to like commit like a terrorist attack or something, right? And then, without going into spoilers, they kind of make it seem like they're hijacking the plane because the airline like fucked over like somebody's relative in like the hijacker's crew or something like that. And so I guess they're getting like revenge on the on like the airline because reasons. But like that's the thing, folks, is like the motivation for the hijackers doing what they do is really like unclear, and not like in a creative way where like they're like like trying to trick the audience. More like it's more like the writers can't decide which narrative they're going with early on in the series. So they're just kind of like trying to write in all three and then hoping that the audience will just be like okay with whatever they choose in the ending, right? It's very it's kind of bizarre. I don't really see. It's really unclear like which path they're going to take. Because their setup really isn't all that like clear, right? Like it's like it doesn't even seem like they're like trying to like set up like a subversion in the show. It seems like really the writers at this point in the series have no idea where they're like going to go with the direction of what the hijackers are doing or what their motives are. Um, Also, like Idris Elba's um like role as a negotiator is really kind of like and it's not like really that well like explained because right like his son and his wife in the show they're like they're they're on the ground in London. They say that he's like a a highly skilled like corporate negotiator, right? But never once in the series do you see him like beforehand like doing like a business deal or like a business negotiation, right? So you don't really know that this guy is like a skilled negotiator. The audience never sees anything from his character that would like really establish him as like being a skilled negotiator in the first hand. And in fact, in some instances in the show, it kind of seems like uh, well, he's actually a terrible negotiator because the terrorists or whatever are able to order him around, right? So that's another thing. Um, Also, this is going back to the whole are they terrorists or are they robbers thing, right? So in regards to the hijackers of the plane, um, the crew is weird because on the one hand, you get the impression that like the two or three of the robbers or hijackers might have been like special forces or something like that, or they've been like professional like bank robbers or something like in the past. They seem to kind of know what they're doing. Uh, they know what's up, right? But then they have like three other members as part of their crew who honestly, they're all like young 20 something year olds and they seem like they're very blue in the gills. It's like it's their first hijacking or their first like big crime in general and they don't really know what they're doing, right? So that's bizarre from like a writing perspective because like in my mind if I'm going to hijack a plane or something, right? Like if I'm writing a villain and I'm writing like a crew of bad guys or something and they're going to hijack a plane, I'm going to write my characters so that they can like so they're like they're very well trained and they're very professional and they know what they're doing and no one can fuck with them and it raises the stakes pretty high and it makes the stakes higher for our heroes to have to deal with, right? But it seems like it seems like three of like the highest like skilled bank robbers uh in the country got together and then decided to uh invite like their wannabe gangbanger cousins to like join in the hijacking, right? Like just complete rank amateurs, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, why are these professionals bringing in these rank amateurs to rob a plane with them, right? To rob an airliner. And like I said, this whole thing of like them trying to like, decide whether or not these hijackers are terrorists or just bank robbers. It's kind of like it's kind of BS. I'm not gonna lie, because like especially in the post 9/11 world, like if you hijack an airplane, I got news for you. You're definitely a terrorist, no matter what. End of story. Case closed. That's a terrorist attack, no matter what. Um, and then also, without getting into any spoilers, they they do this thing, and I'm kind of getting sick of Hollywood movies doing this thing now. But they do this trope where like one of the hijackers, like you kind of dive into their backstory a little bit, and like the idea is that you kind of feel sorry for like one of the hijackers eventually, right? You like it's kind of like supposed to be one of the thing like, oh, he was forced into this. So, by virtue of the fact that he was forced into this, like he himself is kind of like one of the hostages on the plane, and you're kind of supposed to empathize with him, right? And it's like, well, fuck off. If you guys are gonna, you know, like I hate when people do that, where they try and make like these when writers do that in the Hollywood now, where they try to make these utterly reprehensible villains seem like sympathetic characters. Just it works on occasion, but now it seems like every movie wants to do that, and it's like, no, it's bullshit. Criminals are mostly reprehensive, especially like hijackers and whatnot. And usually there's no good reason for, something like that to happen. The one example I can think of where like an airplane hijacking was appropriate in like a show was in the show 24. But that was because like Kiefer Sutherland that was because Kiefer Sutherland's character Jack Bauer like had to hijack an airliner to basically stop like a bomb from blowing up on the plane, right? So the plane got hijacked, and then he like had to hijack the plane like back from the terrorists, right? So like that's the only exception I can think of to the rule. But generally, this whole idea of like trying to make the bad guys sympathetic in modern media, fuck off with that shit, Hollywood. It's getting tiresome. So, like I said, in regards to Hijack, I'm already 3 episodes into it. Like, I'll say this: it's interesting enough that I'm still watching it, but at the same time, I think I know the way the show is going to go. And so once the show is over, I'll do my spoiler review of the show. But so far, it's okay. I kind of have low expectations, but we'll see where it goes, folks. That's all I can promise you. So, anyway, folks, that just about does it for today's show. Before we wrap up here, I do want to announce 2 things. One of which is I mentioned this over the weekend, if any of you guys saw my post on Twitter/X. But my good friend Eric P. Bishop has he's coming out with a new novella, a new political thriller novella, Ransomed Daughter. There we go. There, it kind of came into focus there. And so I got a advanced reader copy of that. Very excited to read this. I started reading through a bit last night, and it's good so far. Eric will be back on the show probably later this month to talk about the book, and can't wait to do that. It should be pretty fascinating. Also, he was kind enough to actually autograph the book for me. Let me see if I can get the if I can get its autograph here up on screen for you. Hold on a sec. Yes. So he was nice enough to autograph this for me, and very grateful for that. So again, Eric, can't wait to have you on the show. We haven't set a date for when he'll be on the show, but we will be announcing that soon once we get our schedules coordinated. So go ahead and pre-order his book, Ransomed Daughter, on Amazon or wherever else. He also gave me this handy dandy promo card here, and focus. So yeah, if you want to scan that QR code, if it'll focus again. Okay, there it is. You can scan that. And yeah, so that's his book. And then as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've got my book. I've got my little political thriller novella here, Shadows of Deception. John Ryder. Book 2 coming out probably in early October, folks. I know I said September, but looks like I'm going to push it back to October. Still writing things. So anyway, I just want to make announcements for those two things. And without further ado, folks, I want to thank you all for tuning into today's program. I hope you all had a good Labor Day weekend. Whenever you're listening to this, God bless, God save this great nation, God, freedom, legacy in that order, and I will see you guys on Wednesday for the Wednesday show. God bless, folks.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.